Rebecca's had a fair share of hardships being an Everton fan. It's been difficult at points this season, probably last season, the season before last season. But suddenly there's some positivity on the horizon. Where should we start with Everton over these past 2 weeks? Shall we start with the Merseyside Derby? I know we're going back a week, but I think we have to talk about it. Rebecca, take it away.
Yeah, there is quite a lot to talk about with the Merseyside Derby. I mean, what a match. It shows how far we have come in such a short time under Moyes already. The players have their confidence back. I think Beto is a key example of that. The chances he's taking, the goals he's scoring, it's a completely different Beto under Moyes than what we had under Daesh. And the fans have got the confidence back and the backing of the team. It's one of them where we're going into matches feeling more positive. We've not got this thing of, I'll be happy if we only get beat 3-0 this week rather than 4, or if we don't concede in the last minute to get beat 3-2. It's like we don't want to get our hopes up too high, but it's like we finally got the positivity of thinking, right, well, we're not just going to settle for a draw. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to try and get the win and things like that. And the match, well, it was a Merseyside, like that's the best way to describe it. It was a Merseyside derby. Everything happened. There were sending offs at the end. There was controversial calls. There was goals. There was just a bit of everything. I mean, fair play to Everton. We came out playing as we hoped we would. Took an early-ish lead through a quick free kick, and Beto found the end of it. Little through ball, got it past Alisson, 1-0 up, and you're thinking, right, things are looking up here. You don't want to get too far ahead of yourself because, again, it's Liverpool. We all know what they can do. We all know what they've done over the season, but they did go on to score 2, and that is all I will say on Liverpool, so well done. One of the standout players for me at the moment is James Garner. Having him back shows how much we missed of him. His work ethic and just everything the way he runs the midfield at the minute, he's so solid for us, and he is a big standout, and he was really missed. And another miss for us will be Iliman and Dye. He picked up an injury in the derby. It was, I think he's done his MCL, which is a new one for me, but
it's still got cruciate ligament in there, so I'd imagine not very good.
Yeah, no. We were all saying we think it's the 3 letters, and then they whipped out a new letter rather than an A, it's an M. So throwing us all off. But no, I think Iliman and Dye will be a huge miss. We've all seen what he's done with everything. He's like our leading goal scorer at the minute. He is an incredibly talented player, and he is going to be missed. But we do have Alcaraz to fill in for him, and we will get onto him in the Palace match a bit more. But, I mean, the 98th minute came. So did a cross from Mikolenko, which got a little flick from Timur Abuman, found James Starkowski, and what a strike that was. If he was you'd think he was a striker, is what a lot of people are saying in terms of the goal, but he took it well. He did what he had to do, and he's currently challenging Phil Jagielka for one of the most memorable goals in a Merseyside derby. But both number 6s, centre back, so I think they're sharing the award at the minute. But I don't think it could have been any more fitting way to end the Merseyside derby at Goodison, the last one at Goodison, a goal in front of the Gladys Street. I think that it's written in history that it had to happen, but it was one of them. We did have a few spells where we were thinking, oh God, we're not going to get back into this one. There was like a 10-minute drought where you're like, oh, just come on, just get it in, do whatever you can. And it was like a few crosses that you could tell the players were getting frustrated with themselves, because I think Miko had one that nearly hit the corner flag on the opposite side, and you're just like, what are we doing here? And then Tarky's pass on the edge of the box, it's like he could feed a shot. We also had the Jared goal that got ruled offside, I think it was. So there were quite a few things that were like, oh God, we can see this not going our way. But I think 98th minute equaliser is everything that we could ask for. And then I absolutely love Abdoulaye Doucouré. I don't think you will ever see a man as happy as he was to be sent off. I think rumour has it he's still walking around Goodison now, hugging all the stewards and just like living it up, because I've never seen someone enjoy kind of like getting sent off as he did. But honestly, I think he's just the like definition of Everton at the moment. He's wearing the badge with pride, and that's what we want to see from players. And I mean, all of the spill after the match with Curtis Jones and everything, it is what it is. But I think every Everton fan enjoyed the moment, and Doucouré especially did.
I think he certainly did. There was definitely limbs. I think definitely limbs at the end of the back of that important goal. And we do have people in the chat as well. Join us. Graham joins us in happiest red card in history as he refers to that. And of course, giving credit, of course, to our wonderful Danny. I'm sure he'll let you have this one, Rebecca. That was a thunder bastard from Tarkowski, as he calls that. It was pretty epic. It was a fantastic Merseyside derby, full of passion, fight. I think, as we said prior to the game, if I recall, Grimmy, we were saying make it nasty, and I think they went by that. They went by that script. There was no doubt about that. Definitely was the way for them to go. Grimmy, what did you think from? I wouldn't say a neutral perspective, from not an Everton fan's perspective. How did you take that, and what do you think it means to Everton going forward as well? Something they can hang their hat on for the last game at Everton in a Merseyside derby.
Obviously the history of the fixture and the fact that it stopped from Liverpool from having more wins than them will be a big thing. I know that got mentioned a lot on the radio about how Everton were desperate to keep that level, or at least, if they could somehow nudge a win, that would have been great. But, it's one of those memories that'll stick around for years, and it'll always be remembered as the last game, the last Merseyside goal as well. Being an Everton goal is a special thing as well, because if it had been Liverpool getting an equaliser, it would have been a bit more of a lead balloon situation, I think. But, I mean, one quick thing before I do go on to Everton is I do just want to criticise Virgil van Dijk for his post-match comment saying, "Oh, this is their cup final." It's like, if you can't enjoy an equaliser against your rivals in the last kick of the game, in the last game of one of the most iconic stadiums in English football, what can you enjoy? If you can't enjoy that, you can't enjoy anything. And to be fair, Van Dijk and Liverpool are always being salty when it comes to results not going their way, or if they get a sending off or a goal go against them, they're always very salty in the post-match comments anyway. So I wasn't too surprised by it. But even in that scenario, I was a bit like, come on, let them just enjoy something. But in terms of the long-term repercussions of it, I mean, I think this early run they've had with Moyes being in, I think it's what we discussed when Moyes was first rumoured of it. I think we had a podcast just before he got announced, and I was very positive on him coming in. I felt like it would be a reboot for everybody, and he would just set them back to basics, and he's done exactly that. And like Rebecca said about Beto, he's been one of the main beneficiaries of Moyes coming in. He's the Moyes type of striker. He's quick, tall, got a bit of strength. Yes, he can boot it 50 yards above the goal every now and then, but he does have a decent finish. And up and down the pitch, you can see the positivity he's brought to the team. The confidence is there. The going for balls 50-50. You've got Doucouré celebrating, getting sent off. I mean, that's a team environment that Moyes will bring. And with a summer of investment and a new stadium and a bit more of a positive vibe to Everton, it's the building block that they've been looking to get. And it feels like this might be the start of something, a start of a sunnier period, shall I say. I'm not going to say they're going to go and win the Premier League in 5 years, but like, something that Everton would have wanted to continue once Moyes had left the first time.
It does feel a bit of a reset, doesn't it? And Moyes coming in is that callback, that positive aspect coming through. We'll get onto the stadium shortly because obviously there's been news with that's kind of officially opened now as well this week. So there's plenty of positive stuff happening here. Just go to the chat quickly as Jen is praising your shirt, Grimmy. Loves a good Grimmy shirt, of course. Grimmy's wearing top shirt. He knows his stuff. And Graham is another man who knows his stuff because he's talking on your point of Van Dijk. Grimmy says, "Did Liverpool not celebrate a 2-2 draw with West Brom at Albion?" They did.
Yeah, they did. It was Klopp's. I think it was like one of Klopp's first games, and like Henderson, I think, scored a last-minute equaliser, and then they were doing the whole waving their arms at the cop and this, that, and the other. It's like
it's fine. We seem to have this nature, and I get it because like the Premier League is starting to. We can't celebrate goals anymore. It's like, why are we watching? Why are we watching this game if it's not to have moments of passion and excitement? And I mean, Grimmy, you'll agree to celebrate a Desmond at any time is 100% acceptable, and particularly in that scenario. And as you said, like, yeah, it's Everton aren't in cup finals at the moment. They're not fighting for Premier League, but the one thing that they look for is that match against Liverpool, and it means everything to Liverpool too. You know, that if Liverpool had won that game 3-2 in the last minute, don't tell me that they wouldn't have.
They would have been celebrating that. Absolutely, they were 100%. They would have been, and it was the same when Liverpool were in maybe not as bad a position as United are in now, but we're in the position of they were really only getting the cups or maybe the odd European trophy. They would have been, if they scored a winner at any time, never mind the last minute against United, they'd have been out of the seats. So it's ridiculous that the fans or a team can't enjoy a goal. It's just what are we doing?
It's mad. The celebration police, as Graham says. And of course, our super oracle with Shah. I hope your eye is feeling better. But even with one eye, the oracle that is Shah knows this. He said, "You remember saying bring Moyes back on a pod before they appointed Dyche? You need to see this happen again." So happy it has. And rivalries are what makes football, says Jen. They certainly do. So fantastic, exciting, dramatic stuff kicking off at the end as well, Rebecca, which then takes you nicely into another game at the weekend. You then get a Crystal Palace thinking, what can be done? And you've gone and blooming won again. You've gone and picked a 3-pointer up away at Palace. How was that game?
Yeah, we didn't really know how we would bounce back from the derby because it was like, we're getting into 100 minutes, you're thinking, right, how are they going to be for Saturday, whether they're going to be fatigued and everything like that. But there wasn't a sign of that. We did have to make changes with the Doucouré being suspended and still being at Goodison doing his lap of honour and Dye getting injured. So we did see Alcaraz and Harrison come into the starting 11. We did have a very limited bench, and I'm not one to start crying over like, oh, we've got this many injuries like we see in the media do with Tottenham's list, but it was a case of we had 2 keepers. There were only 2 outfield players that were over the age of 21 on our bench, Ashley Young and Michael Keane. Tim Irabuman, he was on the bench as well, so he was like our 3rd classified first team player, and we have 4 academy lads on there, all under the age of 21. So we didn't have much depth on the squad, on the bench, but we made do with what we did have. Palace did start a bit better than us. They did have chances, quite a few that were challenging. Pickford, one hit the bar, and then they also had the one that was ruled out for going out, which I think that was like a 5-minute VAR check, I think. But that's like another thing. Sorry, going back to the Merseyside Derby when you're on about like you can't celebrate a goal. VAR also takes away that love of celebrating a goal, because the 5 minutes that it took to VAR Tarkovsky's because it was either offside or there was a foul. It's one of them where they give us 2 chances to celebrate, which we're happy with, but it just took away loads because then you're like, oh, for God's sake, here we go again. Especially with what it's like in the ground, because all you see is that big purple screen saying VAR checking goal. There's no replays, there's no nothing. It's just that purple screen staring at you for ages. But we're back onto Palace. But yeah, the VAR check. We did have a few half chances, but nothing that caused too much issue for Palace until a breakaway from one of Palace's throw-ins, which it's really weird seeing things like this happen because it's always Everton that will do the throwing and someone scores from it, or we'll take a corner and they score from our corner. So it is nice to experience it from the other side for once. But a throw-in found Alcaraz, his pass met Beto, who is scoring for fun at the minute. So again, it's just another example of how confident he is feeling under Moyes, and also that Moyes is working with his strengths and he's helping Beto work with his strengths rather than thinking, right, well, you're not as good at this, so we'll focus on this. It's like they're more supporting Beto with what they know he can do, and we're playing to his advantage.
Playing to his game, essentially, yeah.
Yeah, getting it as we need to. So it's like the ball past Henderson and then half-time 1-1. So you're thinking, right, how are we going to come out second half? Because again, you've always got the thing of how fatigued are they? We don't have much on the bench. But no, they scored before. No, they scored on the stroke of half-time, I think it was, or after. I can't even remember. I was on my way back from Morecambe watching it on my phone. It was an annoying one to, it was just after half time. It wasn't an annoying one to concede. It was just one of them where a ball in, legs going everywhere, ball going everywhere, and then the Palacia found the end of it. But it is what it is. We carried on pressing. We had chances from Beto and Lindstrom, who, again, Lindstrom is a completely different player under Moyes. Along with Jake O'Brien, he's given him a chance to prove himself, and he is. And the back three of the defence allows Mikalenko to then be able to get higher up the pitch. So it is a different formation that we are going for. And then Alcaraz, on his first start for Everton, win, an assist, and a goal. So I don't think he could have asked for much more from his first start. But yeah, it's another great 3 points, sees us climb higher up the table. And it's one of them, I think we're 19 points now away from relegation. So if we're still classed as being in a relegation battle, can I also point out we are 19 points away from Champions League? So does that put us in a Champions League battle as well?
Yeah, why not? Because that means that we are Grimmy, so I'll take that.
Jog on with that one, I think. Put it kindly. If I think we're getting anywhere near the top 10, I'd be amazed.
Yeah, I think next up for us, 12:30 kickoff, United at Goodison. So
looking forward to that.
At least one of us is going to. At least some of us are going to be happier.
This is true. Someone's going to be happier. I get the feeling it might be you. We'll see how it all plays out. I thought actually, watching the highlights and the bits that I saw, I thought Everton did quite well because Palace bossed the game pretty well early on. They were peppering the chances pretty early on. And obviously the goal came from that kind of crazy throw-in mix-up, but Everton took their chance. I thought it's just kind of showing that resoluteness, that Moyes kind of way of staying in the game and not, in the past that would have been, you'd be 2-0 down in the first 20 minutes, you'd be kind of out of it. But they really dug in. As you said, like knowing that you've got a striker that's kind of finishing, got a bit of form about him, bit of confidence makes a huge difference to them. So yeah, it's a nice little run when you look at it. I mean, say take the FA Cup out of the equation, that's what 4 wins and a draw against Liverpool in a row in the Premier League. So they certainly deserve the position, and they'd be well clear of relegation at the minute. No doubt about it. And we'll come back to you in a minute. We're back on the stadium. But I'll go to Grimmy first. Have you seen anything of this new stadium, the Bramley Dock Stadium? They opened it the other day. Was it the under-18s? I think got under-19. Under-19 got had the 10,000 that went in there. What do you?
Yeah, I'd seen. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you like it? Do you like does the design entice you?
I don't know. I always find it strange looking at empty stadiums because I always want to see it with the fans in. So seeing the stand with 10,000 in, I was like, oh, okay, I can see. It feels from that it's going to be quite an intimidating stadium to be in, to play as an away team. Like it feels like it's going to have quite a bit of atmosphere. So again, like Goodison, really taking that sort of atmosphere and putting it into the new stadium is a smart move, because I always remember West Ham playing in was it Upton Park, their old stadium.
Yeah.
And then they moved from that sort of like really closed in old stadium to the new Olympic one. And obviously you've got the track in between the pitch. So the fans are almost pushed away. And it takes away sort of that element that they used to have at home of being able to sort of get on top of the opposition. So if Everton have got that going for them, as well as a fancy new stadium and everything else that Man United could only dream of right now, then yeah, I think it'll be a good time for them, unfortunately. I'm not bitter.
Not in the slightest. It's got that nice look about it. The fact it's sort of near the water and such. I think a lot of the stuff I'd heard today was that a lot of the fans were impressed with the stadium, liked it. I think they said transport needs a bit of work. There was problems, I think, with the local station. I think, and they also said it's tad nippy by the water. But just. Everton coat sales are going to go through the roof. That's all they need to do. Stock up in the official store, and they'll be all right. Rebecca, what do you make of the news? Obviously, difficult because you're leaving Goodison Park behind. But what are you thinking, looking at the new stadium?
Yeah, I am excited about the new stadium. We have taken aspects of Goodison, like Grimmy was saying, about how close the fans are still to the pitch, and that was one thing that Everton fans made clear when the proposal went in for the new ground, and that was one of the main things that we wanted to keep because, again, like Goodison, anyone goes to Goodison and it can be hell for the away team. So to keep that going with a bigger capacity, it will work quite well in our favour. It does look really good. It is going to be bittersweet because Goodison is like all anyone's ever known and loved, but then it's like, it's this new era of Everton that we seem to be heading into, which I feel like we need, because it's like we have had this up and down with FFP, points deductions, like everything. We seem to just hit this point of relegation battles, which is what we've had for the past 3 seasons. So to have the new stadium to look forward to, it is something that you can see grow with Everton now and see where we can take Everton next. But it will always be sad having to say goodbye to Goodison because, I don't think you've got any other stadium in the Premier League that still has the Bullens Road that has wooden seats and wooden floors. It's just one of them. Everywhere you look, there's a obstructed view. So it was like loads of photos from the new ground last night. It's just not the same. They've missed the pillar in front of them. Or
I can see the entire pitch. I don't like this.
Oh my God, I can see the corners.
I think if it was the start of the season, seeing the entire pitch might have been a problem, but now I think Everton fans want to see the entire pitch now, don't they?
Yeah, it is exciting. It's like Goodison Way as well is like a huge floor design thing that we've got going. So it's like fans have been able to buy little stones, and then there's going to be Everton legends on there. And that's like another very exciting thing for me is we got my dad one for his birthday. I also put my name on it with his. So we've got that to go and see when it's finished and Bramley is there. So it's like there are little things to get excited about. The food looks quite good as well, which was quite exciting. But it is just a test menu, which really bugs me because if they don't keep them donuts, I will cry because that is one thing that I want when we go. But yeah.
You need good food on a trip to a stadium. If you don't have good food, it's partly ruined, I think.
Yeah. I think another thing that people were saying was there's like a lighting issue towards when they were leaving. So no one could see anything because there's like not much lighting around. So it's like there are still little things that need to be sorted, but it does look really exciting. But a lot of people were saying you get sore knees walking right to the top if that's where you're sat because it is a very steep wall, they're saying. So yeah. Exciting. Although we did get beat, which is very unfortunate. We got beat 2-1, and Wigan scored the first goal at Bramley Moor, which doesn't sound great. But I think it was Roy Rogers, I think he's called, a 16-year-old, scored a penalty for Everton. So he's the first Everton goal scorer.
There you go. That will be a quiz question one day. So note it down in your books.
I was thinking the exact same thing. That's a pub quiz question if there was one in Everton.
That is, with a name like Roy Rogers. That's a perfect pub quiz question.